What's up? Tyler from Plugged On. I'm here with an album review. This time I'm going to be talking about the new album from the band Bullet for My Valentine, entitled Gravity. This is their sixth album, the follow-up to 2015's Venom. If you don't know Bullet for My Valentine, they are a rock band from the UK. Yes, I said rock band. I don't really think they're a metal band anymore. This album's... it's interesting, for sure. There's some stuff on here that I'll get into. Bullet for My Valentine's had such a interesting history, honestly. They started off as like a very hard, in-your-face metalcore band. Then they put out a more metal album with Scream and Fire. It's one of my favorite albums of all time, just because of what it did to me as a music listener, opening me up to other things. I still think there's some good jams on that one too. And then, Fever was more... it had some rock elements, but there's some amazing tracks on there, and that's an album that over time I appreciate way more. Like The Last Fight is just, I think, one of the best songs this band's ever written. Just anyways. But then they ran into Temper, which, holy shit, that's an album, and that's not a good album at all. And lots of just really bad, not very well done stuff on that one. And it was kind of like, what happened? It was weird. Then they came back with Venom, and Venom's a fine album. I listened to it again the other day for the first time in a few years, and I was like, yeah, this album still has some jams, it has some solid riffs, some great vocals, good energy to it. I like it. So I was looking forward to Bullet for My Valentine's new album because I felt like they were on a good trajectory. Like Temper, that was just a bad spot in their career. They still had it in them with Venom. Let's see what they're doing. Next, they put out Over It on Easter, around I think it was, and Over It is a good song. I think it's probably the best song on this album, to be honest with you, and I do like listening to that song. It's a good rock jam, in my opinion, just because, the main riff starts and you're like, all right, let's do it, and then the whole band busts in, and that guitar lead, the way that is produced is killer. It is so great, the production of that guitar lead combined with the riffs. It's really, really well done, and I don't mind the verses, the chorus, all that stuff. Like I said, I think it's a good, fun rock jam, something that you can crank up and have a good time with. And then, so diving into the album beyond Over It, which is the second track on here, it starts off with Leap of Faith. And Leap of Faith, it isn't an awful song. Like, I don't mind the chorus to that one, but to me, I feel it's a weird song to start the album with. And I don't know if it's them saying, like, Leap of Faith is in, yeah, this is a different album from us, let's do it. Who knows? But, it's a weird song to start with, in my opinion, because it has a hard time getting going in terms of energy, where I feel like if they would have put Over It first, that's a good one to just get you started, get you broken in, be like, yeah, cool. But maybe Leap of Faith was a good idea because I feel like it represents the album the most, honestly. Letting You Go is another song. Letting You Go is probably one of the most just straight up rock jams that Bullet for My Valentine has, and that one I enjoy as well. To me, the only tracks I really could see myself willingly putting on. Now, I think there's so many other songs I would put on over these ones, but if I wanted to be like, what, I'm in the mood for some just rock from Bullet for My Valentine, because why not? That's a weird thing to say, but I could see myself putting on these two tracks. Letting You Go is okay, and to me, it's kind of the middle section when it's just open guitars and Matt Tuck's just letting you go. To me, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? It's a kind of a goofy jam, but it's got a really, really catchy chorus to it for sure. But then I think from there on this album is just when it just really falls apart to me. It really does. Like, I think Not Dead Yet is an awful song, mostly because of that chorus. Matt Tuck's vocals just, he sounds good on this album, but during that chorus, it just drives me nuts, the way he says "not dead yet," and I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Then you get to the very last time, which I could see that song going back and forth with people, because it is more of a slower, more ballad-like song. I'm not really into it, but I could see somebody being into that one. It does have some emotion to it and everything, but that's a very just like, man, there's not much to that one besides the vocals. Matt Tuck is very much carrying that one. Then it gets to what I believe to be the absolute worst song on this album, and I cannot believe that they put it out as a single, and that's Piece of Me. Piece of Me is such an awful song in every way. To me, the main riff is repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again, to the point of like, I'm going to go insane if I hear just, it's like 4 minutes of that over and over again, and it just boggles my mind that they put that out. And then I think the vocals just do not mesh with it very well. I found them personally just be very annoying, the way that they're sung, and it's just that over and over again. I was like, wow, like, I can't believe that they put this out as a single, to be honest with you. Like, you're saying this is one of the best songs on that record? What? That is unbelievable to me. To me, that song is like Born of Osiris's Machine, which I know that's Born of Osiris's most popular song. I cannot fathom why. That song goes nowhere. It repeats the same fucking shit over and over again, and it does nothing at all. And to me, Piece of Me is the same way. I know that's very much an opinionated thing. I know, fully understand. I am very much in the minority on the opinion of Machine from Born of Osiris. But anyways, then you have Under Again, the title track, Coma. Just, to me, kind of boring tracks, honestly. And they're structured very much the same. Some of the choruses, especially between the title track and Coma, to me, are structured a little bit too similar to have them back to back on the album. And then you get to Don't Need You, which is a song they put out 2 years ago that I think jams. And I was like, wow, it's funny that's probably the best song on the album, if you count it on this album, for sure. And to me, you look at that song and you're like, that's a song that has a very, it has good energy to it, to where I still feel it could be played on the radio. Like, you don't have to conform and be this kind of lifeless thing that I feel a lot of radio rock is, and some of these tracks are. Now, the one thing about some of these songs is a lot of them are, I know in an interview Matt Tuck said, like, yeah, I had a hard time in between this album and all that stuff. He almost didn't want to be in the band anymore, and he kind of put that into the lyrics, and you can tell that for sure. You really can. And I get that for sure. I just think the music that surrounds it most of the time is just so fucking boring to listen to. It really is. And you can have riffs, you can have the energy and everything, and still, if you want to appeal to that radio crowd, get on there. Look at, I'm just going to use an example. Five Finger Death Punch. I don't, they're not my favorite band. They're definitely not the heaviest band out there, but they have some riffs sometimes. They have some harder vocals sometimes, and they're on the radio. Same with Avenged Sevenfold, or I don't know, Seven Dust. Ghost, in a way. Not that they have harder vocals, but they riffs. They do the riffs. You know what I mean? And Don't Need You is a track that does the riffs. I think that song jams. It has an amazing chorus to me. Like, where is that? And that's the thing with Venom. Like, Venom had songs that really walked the line and was like, okay, this is more of a metal track, this is more of a rock track, but they all kind of went together pretty well. And there's some really amazing songs on there, I felt, that could go both ways, This band got big when Fever came out. They got big when The Poison came out. But they started to get radio play when Fever came out, and Your Betrayal's on there, and Your Betrayal has some fucking riffs, you know? And that's the thing, like, Bullet for My Valentine is best when they do riffs, for sure, and, I mean, most bands are. But then, you know, they have to have the really great vocal hook, and I think that's where Temper fell apart. I did the unthinkable. I went back and listened to Temper again just because I was like, I want to just remember this, and yeah, it was okay. But Temper at least has riffs. I think it really fell apart in the vocal department in bringing them all together really well. And even then, I'm not saying the riffs on that album are incredible or anything, but at least it had something. Here, there's not much to grasp onto, and I'm curious about this album. I really am. I'm curious. I know I'm going on for a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm curious on this one because will this make Bullet for My Valentine a bigger band than they are? I don't really think so, honestly. Like, there's just not much here to grab onto as an album. And I know there's some singles on here that people could dig, but I just, to me, the singles on here are just nowhere near as good as the singles on some of their other albums that got very popular on the radio and everything. I just don't know if this is going to make them a bigger band and sell more tickets and more albums. It's a weird album. It really is. I don't know. Obviously, I am disappointed in it just because I know it's in them. And Bullet for My Valentine has this weird path that I feel like most people wanted them to take, but they don't. They write what they want, and that's fine. That's what you want an artist to do. But there is some alternative universe where Bullet for My Valentine took a different path, and they're just this fucking amazing band their entire career, you know. And they don't have these weird experiments. Huh. Hey, it's what they wanted to do. I just don't think it's really worth too much, personally. It's my opinion. I don't even want to give it a rating. Honestly, I don't even know what I would give it. Maybe a fucking 5 to 6 out of 10. It's got at least 2 to 3 songs on it that I don't mind, and the rest, to me, I just find to be a little on the boring side, personally. Let me know what you think of it. Thanks for watching. See ya.